Well, today it's a couple of Iowans talking about softball here, and we have Coach Holly Hesse with us from Missouri State. And Coach, you've been in this game a long time, and I'm gonna go back to your days at Walk-On High School, Walk-On Iowa, very successful career there. On to Creighton with another successful career at Creighton, where I might add, I never got a hit off of you when we faced each other. So, you know, you've been in coaching for 34 years at Missouri State. Just through the eyes and the perspective of a pitcher, how have you seen this game evolve?
Well, certainly everything that is, I would say 90% of what has happened in the game in these 40 years that I've been in Division I softball, and then going way back to high school, has evolved to help out the offense. You know, starting with when I played, when you played, we had a white ball, right? So now we have a yellow ball that hitters can actually see, which, you know, has helped our offense. Back when we played on some fields that didn't even have fences, let alone, recommended 200, 220 distances. So the home run certainly wasn't a big part of the game. The pitching mound went back from 40 feet to 43 feet, which was another thing that helped the offense in the game. The bat technology has helped the offense in the game. And then just, the training that these student athletes have, and how athletic and how strong and how fast they are, has really changed the game.
I mentioned that you had been at Missouri State for 34 years now, and your staff has been together for a long, long time. What are the keys to that success and that longevity at Missouri State?
Yes, Sue's been with me 32 years out of the 34. Believe me, she didn't miss anything those first 2 years she wasn't a part of, other than a bunch of L's. And she really came on and helped me turn this program around. And then Beth has been with me for 27. So we are the longest tenured staff in the NFCA. And it's because, personally and professionally, we just have a lot of respect for each other. We have a lot of love for each other. We have a lot of loyalty for each other. And our strengths work really, really well together. When I go into Sue's office, it is covered in paperwork. Like, she loves to do the budget and order the equipment and make sure the food is ready. And, if it involves paper and numbers, she loves that. And her desk is covered with paper. Now I go into Beth's office, she is always talking to somebody. She's on the phone with the travel ball coach. She's talking to an alum. She's talking to a parent. She's talking to a student athlete. I mean, always talking to somebody. And I say, Sue's good with paper. Beth is good with people. I'm not that good with either one of those things. So it really works out well for me. You come in my office, my desk is, you don't see any paper on my desk. And you don't see people in my office very often either. Like, I'm the thinker, I'm the deep thinker. Just leave me alone to think and be creative and solve the problems and come up with solutions and create creative ways to inspire and motivate and train today. So being able to, all of us, do the parts that we're passionate about, and that we just have a genuinely love for one another is really the key.
So this year's team playing very well. You've got a couple of players that took advantage of the extra year to come back. Really, what's the drive behind this team? What's driving them this year to be so successful?
Well, I think we'd have to go back to 2020 in the COVID year. And we always have a mission every year. And the mission that year was to elevate the program to a higher standard. And then we really didn't have the opportunity to do that because the conference tournament or the conference season got canceled. But ever since they set that mission to elevate this program to a higher level, those who are a part of that, and there are still 11 on the team who are part of that, and the biggest ones are those super seniors, those fifth-year seniors, Daphne Plummer, Madison Hunsaker, Stephanie Dickerson. They were the ones that said, we want to elevate this program. Now, this year's mission is Meraki. And Meraki is a Greek word that means to do something with great love and passion, to put your heart and soul into your craft, and to leave something special behind. And every day we practice, every day we compete, that is the mission, Meraki. And then our values come off those letters in Meraki. So M is motivated, E is excitement, R is resiliency, A is be all in, K is kindness toward yourself and others, and I is integrity. And between the mission and the values and then the vision is, you know, like everybody has, get to the NCAA tournament. They are very inspired and committed to the mission, the values, and the vision. And that is what drives the team.
So always something happens during the season that's kind of crazy, kind of funny, that kind of keeps things light throughout the season. What's probably the most craziest, funny thing that's happened with this team this season?
So we had the Evansville series, not this past weekend, but the weekend before. And we had hit inside in Bill Rowe. And for some reason, the bats got put in my car, which never happens. So you can see where this is going. They're in my back seat. 3 people know the bats are in my back seat. But we get to Evansville, we pull up, and I always play music when they get off. I give them a high five. I'm the last one off the bus. I'm coming off. I got my speaker. I think I'm playing Mary Jo Blige. I'm so fine. I'm like feeling really good. And the team is standing around looking at each other like, where are the bats? Where are the bats? I'm like, oh my God, the bats are in my back seat in Springfield, Missouri. That's where the bats are. In 40 years, I've never had a team not show up to the park with bats. So the best part of the story is, so we have been using a book called Win in the Dark. And one of the chapters is called Obed. Don't get obed, overcome by external events. And that's what they went to immediately. Like nobody yelled at me, blamed me, said, oh my God, we're going to have a horrible weekend. We don't have our bats. Probably the only coach in the country who had to spend $1,200 on 3 bats in Evansville, Indiana. And Matt, the head coach there, was nice enough to lend us 5 of his bats, which is not the same bat we swing, right? But we swung those bats really well. I mean, even after batting practice, they're like, we're so glad you left those bats at home. Like, we love these bats. So Madison Hunsaker hit 700 that weekend, right? Like we keep track of Qs. Like she had 14 at bats and every single one was a Q. And I heard her say when we were leaving the dugout, and the bat she used had tape on it that said number 24. She said, if number 24 will let me take this bat with me for the rest of the season, I'll give her a gift card. So yeah, ridiculous.
Did that happen?
Funny now.
Did she give up the bat?
No, because we have a bat contract. We're not really allowed to swing those bats.
Well, I think the economy of Evansville probably thanks you for the purchase of the bats. And, thank goodness you guys are hosting the conference tournament. So you'll have your bats in your back pocket in the dugout and won't have to worry about that. So we are looking forward to coming to Springfield, having you guys host everybody, and looking forward to a great conference tournament. So thanks for joining us today, Coach, and we will see you in a couple of weeks.
You bet. Looking forward to hosting everybody in Springfield.